Hello, everybody. This is the regular December meeting of the Central Affiliate of NAMI, Mississippi. See, I started not being able to talk as soon as you started recording.
Don't worry about it. Go
But
ahead.
tonight we have a special guest, Shana Harper, who's going to talk to us. And as the president of the affiliate, I'm going to turn it over to the vice president, Latasha Willis, who will do the formal introduction of our guest. Latasha.
All right, thanks, Auburn. So I'll introduce our special guest, Shana S. Harper. She is the Outreach and Community Development Director and CEO of Be Undefeated Therapeutic Solutions. How's that for a name? So I'll share some, so I'll share some of her bio. She's a master level social worker who specializes in early childhood, child and adolescent mental health and trauma. She's in Jackson, Mississippi. She has a Bachelor of Arts degree in psychology from Tougaloo College. Yes, in 2001. I graduated in 96, so of course I'm going to be a little biased. I can't help it.
All right.
Right.
Well, yeah, that's those local colleges are good. I'm Millsaps.
Right. Let's see. You spent some time in Memphis as well. Let's see. You had some work experience at youth villages in Bartlett, Tennessee. You have Master of Science in Clinical Social Work, which you got in 2007 from University of Tennessee. You're a therapeutic foster care therapist with counseling services. Well, you did that for some time, as well as being a trauma-focused child therapist with Victims to Victory in Memphis and Life Change Counseling Center in Memphis. You got a lot of experience in Memphis. That's wonderful. So when you came back to Jackson, let's see, Ms. Harper worked for the City of Jackson Early Childhood Center as the Early Childhood Coordinator and Center Social Worker. She also worked with, Pastries with Parents, a parent-teacher organization. That's pretty cool. As well as specialized training in parents as tender healers, acronym of PATH, youth suicide prevention and early intervention training, adolescent community reinforcement approach, trauma-focused cognitive behavioral therapy, aggressive placement therapy, and so much more. I mean, you have it on the ball, no question. And you're a proud member of New Hope Baptist Church. That's awesome.
Yes.
All righty. Okay, Shana, I'll go ahead and turn off my video and you can share your screen and we'll be looking forward to your presentation.
All right. Good evening. As stated, I am Shana Harper, and I am here to present on burnout. That is a hot topic. I don't think we ever just not talk about it or even have some experience with it. It's a part of our life. Let me go back to, I'm moving a little bit too quick. And so tonight, with talking about burnout, I hope to just give a brief review about what burnout and resilience resemble, encourage self-reflection of current mental and physical wellness, and gain insight on ways to bounce back in the workplace. Because it's very important as we are continuing to go through this pandemic and hopefully coming out on the end of it soon, that we are recognizing how we've been able to really persevere through it. And if there's anything that we need to actually get some assistance and help with, we can acknowledge and actually get that going. All right, so first we're going to talk about that mental and physical wellness. All right, so when we're talking about our mental wellness, we have to keep in contact with our emotional state. So what does our depression levels look like and what does our stress levels look like? So here you see a diagram. It says know the 5 signs. And so when we're talking about looking at ourselves, doing some self-reflection as we're trying to figure out, okay, am I feeling okay or I'm feeling a little off today? We're going to be asking ourselves 5 simple questions. So you'll say, well, maybe I'm not really feeling like myself today. So what's really going on? I noticed that today is Tuesday and it's the second day of this work week, and I just really would rather just stay in the bed. I don't want to go in. Let me see if I got some PTO I can call in, or if I can use some of my sick time. I just really don't feel like myself. I'm normally energetic, on time. I'm noticing I'm not feeling well. The next thing, are you feeling agitated? Like, road rage is a serious thing. And if you've noticed that you've never really had it heightened or at a heightened level, you know that you're agitated over the simplest little thing, someone not driving fast enough for you. Or it could be some other things that are really just causing you to become a little bit more irritated than you normally would be. Are you feeling withdrawn? Like, I really don't want to go out and be around my friends, my family. And I know that we're in this COVID pandemic where we have been sheltering in place, or we're not going out and being as active. But now I'm noticing that I just don't want to go anywhere at all. I don't want to do anything at all. And so I noticed that is a different thing for me. And I'm normally out and about doing a lot of things. The next question that you ask yourself, am I taking care of myself? In my culture of people, we definitely love to go to the beauty shop, to the barber shop. As a black woman, we say we love to go get our nails done and all of that good stuff. And now I've noticed that I haven't gone in the last couple of months to do any of those things. I haven't gone to my favorite restaurant in a while, and it normally makes me feel good. I just don't want to do any of those things. So are you really taking care of yourself? And are you feeling hopeless? COVID has put a special thing on us where we really feel like we're really going to be in this for a while. And so we're starting to see that I just don't have any hope or inclination that things are going to get better. I just feel like we're just going to be in this for a while. I'm depressed. I don't feel happy. So those are some of the things you start to really ask yourself as we look at those 5 signs. So next up, we have infections. When we're talking about our body, we're talking about mental health. You cannot separate your mind, your brain from the rest of your body. All of this goes together as one body. And so when we're looking at the infections that we may experience when we're feeling burnout, we're looking at 2 types, 2 different areas here. We're looking at the symptoms and the illnesses. So when we're looking at the symptoms, we're looking at what are our warning signs? What is our body telling us and acknowledging that something is wrong? And so we have a list of things here. We have increased heart rate. So when we're starting to feel stressed, when we're starting to feel as if we're not in our right state of mind, our heart rate increases. Of course, that will go into increased blood pressure. It's important that we take notice of what our blood pressure levels are. If you don't already have a blood pressure reader with you, purchase one of those from Walmart or Walgreens and take note of that. But if you notice that your heart rate is up and you might have some heart palpitations going on, look to see what's going on with your blood pressure. You notice that you are having rapid breathing. You might be shortness or have shortness of breath. Muscle tension. When we are stressed, most of the time, our muscle tension happens in our shoulder, in our neck. So that's clear indication that something is going on, that your stress levels have heightened. You also may have a headache. You notice that you don't usually have headaches on a frequent basis. And now every day this week, you've been having a headache. You could be definitely stressed. Nausea comes into play, as well as dizziness. So, as I stated, the symptoms are warning signs. If you take heed to the warning signs, it will not go over into the illnesses. But of course, if you don't, then you possibly could actually experience one of the following. The first one is a fever. Now, when I was doing my research as to some of the illnesses that could happen when you're actually experiencing stress, fever came up, and I thought, well, I don't really know what that would really mean to have a fever if I'm stressed. About 2 months ago, I met a parent and she came into the ER, and she said that she had a fever because she was stressed. And I thought that was so crazy to hear such a thing. I had never heard that before. And I thought, well, maybe she is probably, really kind of out of touch with things. And, I just really dismissed what she said. But upon doing my research, I found out that she was totally right in what she said. It's called psychogenic fever. And what that means is that the fever is caused by psychological factors instead of a virus or other types of inflammatory cause. And so her fever actually was there because she was stressed. That's something that we need to take knowledge of, especially with us living through this whole COVID pandemic. And one of the symptoms could be that you would have a fever. Well, if you're stressed, you probably don't have COVID, you're probably experiencing burnout. You also have inflammation. When we're talking about our body parts, things that are not functioning well, inflammation could come about. You also have stomach issues. If you notice that your gastrointestinal system isn't working properly, so you may have some abdominal pain. You might have the nausea that I spoke of as one of the symptoms. Now it's happening more frequent. You also might have indigestion, stomach acid reflux, diarrhea, constipation, or IBS. Those are things that can happen that's generally related to you being stressed or having experiencing burnout. Of course, we have depression, and that's when your stress levels are just kind of really out of whack. Okay, you have your brain chemicals are out of balance, and is elevating your cortisol levels. So that means that your mood, your sleep patterns, your appetite, all of these things are going to change because you are experiencing a level of depression. Then once more, we have headaches and migraines. So it's just not a little headache or a headache that may last a couple of days. Now we're experiencing migraines that could be even more painful and they could last a lot longer. We have allergies and asthma that come about, as well as obesity, which of course, if we have those different levels that are starting to switch and change on us, that could cause our cravings to increase. Now I'm craving sweets all the time, or I'm having some weight gain, or I'm just my sleeping patterns are totally off. And so I'm not exercising, I'm not moving. And so my weight has increased. Also, you have heart disease that we have to really truly be mindful of, and pain levels. Pain, as I stated before, because we have that muscle tension that is usually found in our neck and shoulders and back. Now it's a constant pain and it's never ending and it's painful. And so we got to be really truly mindful of that. Of course, we have financial. All right. So we're living in a time where we're not getting paid enough. I hope that through COVID that we certain jobs, frontline jobs, have started to become more appreciative. But we're fighting against inequality as women, where we're not getting paid the same amount that our counterparts are getting paid. And so that could be very stressful. The cost of living is starting to go up. Food is going up. Of course, we're dealing with the gas prices going up. We have so much that's going on, and then we don't really have good paying jobs to really support that. So that definitely could lead to stress and burnout, especially when you find yourself working 2 or 3 jobs and trying to support a family. It's a lot. So we have that we're looking at. We also are looking at the social aspect of it, of burnout. So who can I turn to? Who's my supportive team? Can I go to my boss when I'm having issues? Can I go to my colleagues? Here we have some social signs of stress. We have loneliness, reduced social contact, social anxiety, lack of intimacy. And when we're talking about intimacy, we're not necessarily talking about the sexual intimacy. We're talking about just being around people and feeling comfortable in yourself and knowing that that you're not being judged for who you are. And so when we are lacking that could definitely be or be related to our burnout. And once more here, do you know the signs of stress? So once more, we have agitation, we have hopelessness, self-neglect, personality change, and withdrawal. So what exactly is burnout? You know, we've heard this term for a long time. What exactly is it? It was coined by the psychologist Herbert Freudenberry or Freudenberger. I've been trying to practice that and I knew I was going to mess up and I did. It's Freudenberger in the 1970s. And burnout describes a severe stress condition that leads to severe physical, mental, and emotional exhaustion. All right. And so burnout is a state of mental and physical exhaustion that can zap the joy out of your career, friendships, and family interactions. So how do you get here? You know, when you're experiencing burnout, what is that? We know what it looks like, what some of the symptoms are, or what it could lead to as far as illnesses, but how do you actually get here? And so first we have exhaustion. Of course, you know, you just don't feel like moving. You're physically and emotionally depleted. You have given yourself so much, and now you just don't want to move. You just want to be in one spot. You're tired. You're not getting really a lot of sleep because you're in this constant mode where I have to go to work, I have to produce, I have to do these things, but I am exhausted. I have nothing more that I can give. And that's a very dangerous level to be at. You also have isolation that we talked about before. So you really don't want to be around anyone. You don't want to socialize. You know, you have girls' night every Friday and they haven't seen you in the last 2 months. You know, your family, you always have Sunday dinners and they haven't seen you all the pandemic, not even through Zoom, which is convenient. They don't even want to be involved in that. And so that is serious, you know, even with your coworkers, somehow you dodge them. You don't want to be around. You don't want to go out to lunch with them anymore. You just want to be to yourself. The next one is very interesting, and that's the escape fantasy. So with the escape fantasies, I think we all have our moments where we start to plan ahead, going to Disney World. I'm going to plan a trip to Disney World, take my family, and I can't wait. I look forward. I'm joyful in that. But when you find yourself really kind of fantasizing about, okay, I want to go to the beach. No, I want to go to Atlanta to the football game, or I want to go to the mountains, to the snow. I just want to be to myself. I just want to get away from this. And you find yourself that now I don't even want to take anybody. I just want to go by myself. I need to be alone. I'm going to get some drugs, some alcohol, or some food to just kind of numb the pain. That is a real direct link to your burnout. When you start to picture yourself doing this a lot more frequently than just planning. Of course, we have irritability. So one could lose their cool and snap and just curse people out. It's a lot. It's too much when you're having to do something that is just not giving you joy anymore. And now you're irritable and you just want to just snap out on people, and that's not good. That's not good. And lastly, of course, we have frequent illnesses. So going back to that list of all the different things that could happen to you, your immune system is so important. You know, we have had, we can't really escape it, especially right now dealing with COVID, because we're always told that if our immune systems aren't up to par, we really can't fight off the COVID-19. And so we're seeing that people are having more frequent colds. This is the flu season. So if you believe in the flu vaccine, definitely go get your flu shots. You may have insomnia. You can't sleep. You're staying up for days on end. And of course, with your mental health, you're having anxiety levels that have gone from a level 1 to now you're at a level 10. Also, you have your depression levels that have increased. And so it's really, really hard to maintain good health when we're talking about burnout, because it's affecting us in so many different areas. So these are just some stressful situations that could occur or maybe has occurred over the last year. So caring for an ill family member. COVID definitely put us in a situation where we had to look out for our elderly people, our seasoned seniors, and just making sure that they are well. And that kind of took us out of our norm. If we know we don't go over to our family members or our mothers, grandparents' homes on a daily basis. And now we're having to make sure that they're okay. That is stressful. We're trying to add that on and balance out our life. That has been a very stressful situation. And so a lot of people have experienced burnout. Working long hours. At the start of the pandemic, we noticed that the frontline workers, the doctors, the nurses, they were in the hospitals and they could not leave. They experienced a severe level of burnout. And I'm hoping that they have recovered from it. But some had to quit their jobs because it was just too much. And then, of course, witnessing upsetting news. We've had so many things over the last year that we've had to witness, whether it was on our local news station, whether it was on the national level, whether it was on social media, really bringing and looking at all of that on a consistent daily basis can lead to us having stress and burnout. And so we have to really be mindful of what we're actually consuming when we're talking about dealing with stressful situations. And so now we have, and I'm trying to move my screen around, the 12 stages of burnout. So we know what the symptoms are. We know what those illnesses that could actually come about from actually experiencing burnout. So what are the 12 stages? Because you just don't really just go right into it. There are different levels to it. So one of the first one is excessive drive or ambition. And so you're just constantly on the go. You have your goals set. There are things that you want to accomplish in the next year. And so now you're starting to focus on some of the things that you need to do, and you're not taking a break. You're not taking a breather. You're constantly on the go, constantly on the move. And that can be very dangerous because, yes, that's great that you have goals that you want to achieve, but you also need to incorporate taking breaks. Don't work 7 days a week if you don't have to when you're trying to accomplish your goals. Take that time of the weekend. If you know you work from 8 to 5, turn that phone off after you get off of work and just have your me time. And we'll talk about me time a little bit more. Next, you have pushing yourself to work harder. Okay, so say, for instance, I'm studying for an exam and I'm trying to pass it. This is my second time trying to accomplish that. And so I'm going to push myself until, I'm not getting enough rest. I'm not getting sleep. I'm not taking any self-care practices whatsoever. And I'm just pushing and pushing and pushing until eventually, I'm starting to notice those symptoms. My blood pressure is up. I'm starting to have this excessive pain that I did not have before. And so that's part of one of those stages of burnout. Neglecting personal care and needs. Self-care is so important, people. Self-care is so important. And I don't want anybody to feel as if it's not. We've heard about this a lot, and we're going to continue to hear about it. It's so important to take time to yourself. Designate a me day. People say mental health days. I'm hoping that more jobs are starting to recognize mental health days because they are vital in the livelihood of your workers. But you do have to take that time out for yourself. Go to a movie or go into Netflix or do something that brings you joy and happiness. Of course, you have displacement of conflict. So when you're not able to resolve the conflict in a healthy way, you seem to just push it to the side just to keep moving. So the more you push those conflict and compromising issues to the side, they start to build up to the point where now you have snapped. You're burned out. No time for non-work related needs, having dinner time with your family at the table, or actually cooking together, not spending time with other family members and friends and things of that nature. You just start to push that to the side. You just don't want to do it anymore. Of course, denial is one thing. A lot of people don't really recognize that they're experiencing burnout because now they're into this routine. I've incorporated this particular structure of what my day will look like. And if something is added to that, okay, I can go ahead and add it in. It's hard for me to say no. So I am at this point, this is my regular routine, but I don't have much steam and energy to doing these things, but I know it has to be done. There's nothing wrong with me. This is the way that my life is. But truthfully told, you are experiencing burnout. You need to really start to take some things off of your plate. Then, of course, we have withdrawal. We have behavioral changes. We have depersonalization. We have inner emptiness. Nothing really truly brings me joy anymore. I'm just sad and depressed. There's nothing that anybody can do to help me to snap out of what's going on with me. And so I'm experiencing this burnout. Of course, depression and mental and physical collapse. And so now, after all of these things, I'm done. I'm probably going to end up in the hospital because I cannot move and do anything else. I'm totally exhausted. I can't push myself anymore. And that's very, very dangerous when you have gotten to the mental and physical collapse. It's truly dangerous. You're not able to cope with anything. And so God has a beautiful way of sitting you down. And at this point, you are being set down and forced to regroup. All right. So after we've learned and we know what what burnout is, now it's time for us to start to do some self-reflection. So self-awareness, the importance of self-awareness and how to cultivate it. So self-awareness is a key component of emotional intelligence. And what is emotional intelligence? It is the ability to perceive emotions. I always like it when I ask children, how are you doing today? And people will tell you, or even anyone, children and adults, they'll say, well, I'm fine. Well, do you know that fine is not an emotion? That is not an emotion. That's just an easy way to get people to leave you alone, to not bother you. You just say, I'm fine. Well, I want you to be a little bit more intentional about understanding what emotions are and how to really express that. Are you feeling joyful today? Are you glad today? Are you blessed today? Are you angry? Are you sad? Those are the words that you need to use to really acknowledge what's going on with you. So when you have that emotional intelligence, you definitely perceive your emotion of what's going on. You also have access and generate your emotions to assist the thought that you're having. You understand emotions and emotional knowledge, and you regulate emotions to promote emotional and intellectual growth. And so when you're able to acknowledge what's going on with yourself, there's a level of freedom there, of being intentional and being honest with yourself and knowing what's going on, how you're feeling, and knowing that you can do something about it. So what are the benefits of self-awareness? Well, you have the ability to your own emotions and responses to various situations. You are aware of your triggers and how you react. Like, I know that I have road rage. I truly do know that. But I also know that I need to learn how to cope with it better, how not to respond to every little thing all the time. And that helps me to be a better person, and it really prevents me from experiencing something that I don't want to experience. So I'm able to acknowledge those things. You're also able to embrace the beauty and blemishes of one's emotions and personality, and you are able to set realistic standards and expectations for self and others. And so I can't expect someone to have to deal with a whole lot of stress if I know that I can't really deal with it. And so I try to be of a support system to the next person and give them the support that they need, and knowing that they don't have to try to handle everything. So I'm really trying to give people those little gems that I can on being more realistic and setting those expectations and those goals for themselves, and just doing it step by step, bit by bit. All right, so now we have resilience versus perseverance. So of course, resilience is the ability to bounce back. So if something just happens that I have like my schedule set for the day and something out of the blue happens that is just totally unplanned, how do you respond to that? Do you allow it to absorb you and bring you down, especially if it's something negative? Or do you say, okay, I can cope with this. I can deal with this. There's some things that I already have in my toolbox that's ready to go that I can pull out and use to help me to continue to bounce back and be productive for the day. I hear a term, or I hear this saying all the time from a loved one, that if something is off, it has ruined their entire day. That's not true. You have to have a level of being able to bounce back because you still have things that you have to accomplish during that day. And then you have perseverance, and that's the ability to forge ahead despite difficulties or delay in accomplishing the goal and task. And so whenever I say this, for some reason, when I say forge ahead, I'm often reminded of George Washington when he's crossing the Delaware River. And I believe that's what it is. I still haven't gone back to find out for sure, but I remember in elementary school looking at my textbook and seeing that picture of George Washington, and it was cold, the river was frozen, and he's pointing and really strengthening his crew to forge across this river, despite the fact that it's frozen solid. Like, how are we really going to get across all of this ice to the other side? And he was motivational in getting the people on the boat to actually move and forge ahead. And that's the way that we have to do, or that we have to be in our lives when we're dealing with certain things, when we're setting goals, when we're trying to accomplish things. We do have that ability, but with having that ability, making sure that we are balanced, that we're not trying to put more on our plate than we really should be able to put on that plate. When we're looking at a well-balanced meal, we need to have some room to actually see that plate versus not seeing it at all because we've piled so much on it. This is a quick guide to decrease burnout and build resilience. So identify what you are feeling. This is your life. Acknowledge that you are not feeling well. Acknowledge that you just can't do the things that are being requested of you. Talk about that. Don't allow yourself to just really keep that bottled in. Let it out. Identify what you can and can't do. Identify how you are feeling. You also need to celebrate the small wins. You might have 10 things on your list for the day that you need to get accomplished, and you were only able to accomplish one. Celebrate. Give yourself a hug, a hand clap. Don't go to the extreme of planning a serious trip after that, but celebrate those small wins. Maybe go to your favorite restaurant and actually order dessert to celebrate that. Acknowledge that. Don't ever sell yourself short. Be mindful of emotions you spread. So when you're feeling upbeat and happy, guess what? That's contagious. That is very contagious. But if you're all just depressed and sad, and you just have this look in your body language, and everything is just really sad and depressing, that's contagious as well. If you are angry and you go and you talk to someone else, not to necessarily vent, but to get somebody else on your bandwagon, guess what? They probably gonna get right on in there too. And so we want to be mindful of these types of emotions that we are spreading to others around us. Be more upbeat if you can. And if you are feeling sad and depressed, don't be afraid to acknowledge that, but also pick up the phone and schedule an appointment to talk to a therapist that can help walk you through it. Set healthy boundaries. As I stated before, know what you can and cannot do. I truly want to help as many people as I can, but I've learned over the years that it's so important for me to say no, just as important to say yes. I can't say yes to everything. I really can't do everything. But when I am able to start incorporating those two lovely letters, N-O, in a situation, I feel more empowered. And most of the time when I tell a person no, I try to come up with an alternative. Like, if I'm not able to actually do something for someone, I can give them a resource for someone else that could actually help them. And so by setting those healthy boundaries, I'm a whole lot happier than I used to be, because I used to be the angry Black woman. I used to be the angry Black woman, but I recognize that I smile more, I'm more upbeat, and I have set those healthy boundaries that have just really been vital for me. Create self-care practices. I have Spa Day Sunday. Spa Day Sunday was something that I started a few years back for myself. And so that's when I take the time out to just do whatever I want to do that's going to bring me joy. So if it means getting some Epsom salt and some bubbles and just being relaxing in the tub, that's what I'm going to do. Doing my nails. I do my own nails. I tell anybody I do my own nails. It might take me 3 or 4 hours, but that brings me joy and peace just to take that time to just do that for myself. And so there are different things. I just got a little Cricut thing, machine, and I'm all ready to start incorporating that. I've seen plenty of videos, but that's part of the new level of self-care that I'm going to actually engage in. Whether it be going outside for a walk, and just doing something that's going to bring you joy. Incorporate that. It's nothing wrong with that. Now, I would definitely caution you. Don't go and buy on Friday evenings after your full work week. Don't go to the liquor store. Please don't incorporate utilizing drugs and alcohol for your self-care practice. Please don't do that, because we don't want that to lead to alcoholism and drug dependency. We don't want that. We want you to utilize more holistic, organic options for your self-care. And then I want you to rethink reactions to stress. As I stated, I have road rage. I've been working on that because I have little ears that are in the back seat. And so I have to remember that they're back there and I don't want them to actually get hold of that emotion that I'm going to spread. And so I have to rethink, how do I plan to respond to a person that's driving slow? I keep it to myself and I just move into the next lane. That's beautiful for me to be able to do that. And so whatever your stress is, just rethink how you're going to respond to it in a more healthier fashion. And then you want to encourage connections. With encouraging connections, I truly, truly encourage you all to pursue therapy. If you are a therapist, in my training, I was told that a therapist needs a therapist. If you are not a therapist, if you are someone that has experienced grief and loss, if you are not really persevering in your career goals, if you are being stressed because of whatever the issue is, definitely go and find you a therapist, a counselor. They could be a licensed social worker. They could be a licensed professional counselor. It could be a psychologist. It could be a psychiatrist. Go to someone and talk to them. And I guarantee you will feel better. You really will. Other ways to reduce stress and build resilience: exercise mindfulness. I tell people all the time, let's do some deep breathing. Let's do some deep breathing. And deep breathing does not incorporate this. I don't want you to deep breathe like this. No, that's not deep breathing. When you are inhaling through your nose and you hold it for a second and then you breathe all out through your mouth, that is wonderful. Take some deep breath exercises throughout the day. Also, what you can do is start to focus on some of your other senses. Think about some things that you see. Think about some things that you hear, that you feel, that you touch, that you taste. I can tell you more about mindfulness because I actually love it. I've been incorporating that in my life for years, and it really does help to reduce my stress levels. You also want to take detachment breaks. So if you're working on a project at work and you have a deadline and you've been working for 12 hours straight, hopefully not, but you may find out that you are working long hours at a time. Take time out. Take more than a 15-minute break. Go and stand outside and just enjoy the breeze, the cool air. I love cold weather. And so that always perks me up when I go outside. Like, okay, yes, I'm back. I can get right back to where I need to be. But you need to take those detachment breaks. Now, I also have heard people say, a lot of the students that say that they're going to have a gap year in between graduation to their next point of in their career or whatever they're choosing to do. I'm not recommending that you take a gap year when you talk about detachment breaks, but if that's what you need, do what you need. Do what your body is telling you to do. You want to cultivate compassion. You know, I might not be going through something, but someone else may be going through a hard time. You want to definitely take time to smile, to say a good word, to say positive words to a person, and just give off that good vibe and energy, because you just never know what someone is going through, especially during this holiday season. You want to stay in the moment. You want to focus on your strengths. Contact your EAP. If you have a job, they do have an EAP. Contact them. See if you can get some free therapeutic sessions, some mental health sessions. I know that in the past that I've contacted my EAP and I was given 3 free mental health sessions, which I truly, truly needed. And it definitely helped a great deal. And you also want to replenish your energy. One of my greatest habits, I love to sleep. I'm going to get my sleep. A lot of people don't understand that, but that's just the way I'm one with my body. I know what I need. I'm going to replenish my energy. Get you a smoothie in the morning. Make you a smoothie. You put your wonderful vegetables in there, put your beautiful fruits in there, and drink a smoothie. It's definitely going to boost you up. And that is my presentation. I really, truly hope that you have gained something from this presentation that you can incorporate in your life. Don't accept burnout. You can do something about it. Understand your signs and your symptoms of what's going on with your body. Don't ignore it, because you don't want it to lead to anything else that could be detrimental. And that is it.
That's great. Thank you so much. I'm very interested in the road rage component, though, because I have a bad case of that, and I need to, like you, I realize that it's a weakness and I need to work on it. But
yes, it is something else. It truly is. But I've learned over the years that I don't have to get upset about every little thing.
right. But it's, it's the same time, the self-awareness is really, really good to see that as something that you needed to work on. I see it as something I need to work on and I don't work on it. So it's just, I wind up still getting mad at somebody who tailgates me or whatever. And I just have to realize that that's, because someone is driving badly, that's their problem. And it's not something that I need to, sometimes I feel like I need to fix the world's problems by acting badly or something. I don't know what that mindset is, but exactly. But during your talk, we had a couple other people join us. As you see, we had Nita and Jessica join us. And,
Okay.
And so,
well, are there any questions? Because I didn't ask that part. Are there any
that would be
questions?
great. Just a short Q&A since it's almost 8. If anyone has any questions, that would be awesome. And Shana, if anyone has, maybe they want to follow up with you about your presentation, how can they reach you?
All right, you can head over to my website, www.beundefeatedts.org. Also, I am on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at beundefeatedts. My phone number is 601-826-1035. Be Undefeated offers free mental wellness checkups to anyone. And I think it's very important to know where you are mentally and emotionally. I also conduct developmental screenings of children 0 to 7 years old to make sure that they're meeting their milestones. and not having any serious issues. And if it is identified, I refer out to a variety of services here in the state, wherever you're located, so that the children can get their needs met early. Because if you detect these things early on, you really can prevent some serious issues from happening as they age and continue to develop. I also conduct support groups. Wherever I am needed, I am here, because I'm all about mental health, mental wellness. That is a passion of mine. I know that God put me on this earth to do the business of making sure that people acknowledge their mental wellness and do something about it.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing that information. I put her website and her phone number in the chat, and as she says, she is on Facebook, so you can look for her there as well. You can follow up with her that way. She does respond in Facebook Messenger, as I've discovered. So yeah. Okay, so this is what we're going to do as a wrap up. Laurie Walker Hall is a local performer. She's a Christian music and gospel singer. And I followed her for years online. But I did not know that she had a mental health condition. Early in November, she posted about a psychotic break that she experienced and how she had to be hospitalized. But when she was released, the medication wasn't quite working, and it got worse, and she ended up having to be dealt with again. The police came to her house. Her family was distraught. It was just a whole lot going on. But from that song, from that a song that she wrote called Epiphany came about. That particular experience inspired her to write this song, which I found to be very touching and very telling about what she dealt with. And she wrote it, to tell about herself and also inspire others who may be going through a similar situation. So what I'm going to do right now, I prepared a lyric video because I want to be sure that as you listen to the song, you're able to see how the lyrics match and just be able to meditate on the words that she had for this song. So give me a moment to prepare.
And what is her name again? I'm sorry.
Laurie Walker Hall. It's
Okay.
Laurie Walker Hall. I'll put it in the chat now.
Okay.
And of course, with Zoom, sound quality isn't as good as if you're hearing it yourself. So I highly recommend that you look for this song on iTunes, Amazon Music, or elsewhere. The cover to the song is also in the video, as you'll see. So that way, you'll be able to find it and know that you have the right song. Okay, I'll go ahead and play it now.
Every part of me to tell you this. I lost my peace, my joy, my mind is so far gone. Didn't think I'd find them again. Everything I once knew, I started questioning. Why would he allow this to happen? Felt like I had been forsaken by the one that I gave my whole heart to. Why would a sovereign God put his child through what I went through? My hopes and dreams seem to shatter right before my eyes. But then came the epiphany. I thank God for the epiphany. He said, I survived. courage to come forward with those things people oftentimes label. Nobody wants to be deemed as unstable, yet it happens anyway. Simply drown the noise, do what it takes to make sure you stay on board. And if you need to drop an anchor, stop what you're doing, seek out help and get some answers. So you ask why would a sovereign God put you through what you are going through? Your hopes and dreams seem to shatter right before your eyes. But then comes the epiphany. Don't miss the epiphany. He said you will survive. I know the pain seems unbearable, but yet you'll survive. Somebody else needs to see you make it out of the fire. It's gonna get better. Just hold on a little, then you see the dust settle. My God, I pray you get the epiphany. And even though it's been terribly hard to envision any further than your eyes can see, know that He wouldn't bring you this far just to leave you behind in a world of free. But if you would just take a second and think of all the trials and tribulations He's brought you through. He's that same God with that same power. So don't you dare give up. I need you to believe. I know the pain seems unbearable, but yet you'll survive. Somebody else needs to see you make it out of the fire. It's gonna get better. Just hold on a little, then you'll see the dust settle. My God, I pray you get the epiphany. Get the epiphany. She said, the pain seems unbearable, but yet you'll survive. You're much stronger than you may think. Somebody else needs to see you make it out of the fire. It's gonna get better. Just hold on a little, then you'll see the dust settle. My God, I pray you get the epiphany.
I mentioned the song was available on most major digital outlets. I hope you all enjoyed that very much. I know I did.
Oh, I like that.
That's very
That was
good.
real good. I'm glad you shared that.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
real nice.
Yeah, I still remember that morning when I got up early and I saw it. I was like, I was no good. I mean, it was just
Mm.
it really hit some areas, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I bought it twice. I bought it on iTunes and Amazon. I wanted to be sure I could get to it, you know, whenever I wanted to. And
Is it on Spotify?
well, she said all major outlets, so I'm assuming you can check.
Okay.
But definitely Amazon Music and iTunes, no question, it's there. It's definitely there. She has not seen that lyric video. I tried to see if she can come tonight, but she started a new job, so she wasn't able to, leave to be with us tonight. But she said it was fine for us to share her song, and she emailed me the lyrics so I could make the video.
Yeah.
Which I stayed up last night doing. So
Well
anyway,
done. Well done.
thanks.
Thank you.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, so I'm gonna send her the video and see what she thinks. She might want to swap out the song because I had to do like a recording of a recording to get the music, but she might want to swap it. If she wants to keep it, she can just replace the music with her own track. 'Cause that's really all it is. But yeah, that right there, even though it's from a Christian perspective, because I know everybody doesn't share that belief, but still, even outside of that, there's a lot you can pull, from those lyrics. You know what I mean?
Right.
From where you came
The
from.
words, yeah.
Yeah. And then, in order to assist someone else, like pulling them up, like I survived. Okay. So can you. And that's pretty heavy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
It is.
Yes, and that's exactly what I thought about too.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
So you encourage yourself and you encourage other people at the same time. Whew. I got goosebumps all over again.
I know.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Jessica, I was hoping I said, I know Jessica and I know Nita gonna like this song. They better come tonight.
Yeah.
Absolutely loved it.
Yes. When I looked
Awesome.
at the time, I'm like, oh my God, it's 7:40. I said, I said, I don't care if I had listened to the ending of it. I was upset because I had my time set for the meeting
Yeah,
at
and then
7 o'clock.
yeah,
Never
stuff
too-
happens. But
Never too late, Jessica.
Yeah,
right.
right.
And fortunately, we're recording this one, so you
Oh,
can
Lord.
catch the rest of it. I'll share it later. But
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So I guess we'll go ahead and wrap it up. Auburn, you want to close it out?
Yeah, I just want to get with you. I think our next meeting will be January 4th, and we might want to have a business meeting of some type. Then we'll talk about it before then.
Yeah, I
but,
think that'd be a good idea. It's been a while since we had a good business meeting.
yeah, kind of a
so-
strategic planning meeting for the year ahead or something like that.
Mhm. Yeah, I think that'd be a good idea. But two quick announcements. Number one, we do have a popcorn fundraiser online version. It's you probably heard of Double Good Popcorn. If you go to our Facebook page, you can go there to order. Now they were having some problem with their website where people have trouble checking out. I hope this is resolved by now. Yeah, I might be able to order. The fundraiser ends on the 9th. I set a goal of $500, and last time I checked, we were at 238 or 236, something like
Okay.
that. So we're doing good. So it's just minimum order $18. So if you order like 2 bags of popcorn, you're in the game. That's all you have to do. And also NAMI Mississippi and Open Up Mississippi, they're doing a winter coat drive right now, and that ends on the 10th. So
Okay.
the coats, or and so anything else you think it might be necessary for warmth, gloves, socks, hats, you can drop those off at the state office on Sutherland Street in Jackson. You go namims.org for their address. It's best to call and schedule to make sure someone's available for you to have somewhere to leave, instead of leaving the front door, because anybody get it.
Yeah, they pick it up. Yeah.
So fortunately, I got a big donation from the manager at the library in Bolton.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, she talked to some friends, and she gave me a bunch of stuff today. So I'm definitely gonna give her a shout out as well. But yeah, so we got those two things going on. January 4th to be our next meeting, also at 7. It's more of a business meeting, so not too much, extras.
Well, let's just say that for now, but we may throw in something fun too. But
yeah, it's a possibility. You never know. So hey.
Thanks so much, Shana, for being here tonight. We really, really, really appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Thank you all for having me.
Yes, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Have a good night, everybody.
All right. Good night.
Okay. Good night, you all. And thanks again, Shannon.